We're here for summary judgment. This will be a short video, probably. I just want to keep kind of promoting and talking about the game a little bit. I actually got to play finally a few games over the weekend, 3 actually. 2 against my buddy Francesca, another against Phil, one of which is already kind of bought in. Got some interest out of a couple other folks, hopefully too. The game is still a ton of fun. I played some kind of random warbands mostly because I was trying to stick with models that are out for Wave 1. You can definitely tell just from that little bit why they felt the need to do the Kickstarter for Wave 2. Just because, you know, like against, I was playing against my, the couple games I played on Sunday. I wanted to have a variety. We weren't really doing the pick and ban yet, or blind or anything like that. Francesca only has a few models, so I wanted the games to have a variety, and I've not really played, so like just, you know, kind of throwing some stuff down and see what happens. And you know, as it is, there's only, you know, like 3 melee aggressors, there's only the 1 magic aggressor, and that's it, like in Wave 1. And there's some I have some models that aren't totally assembled yet, so that for painting reasons and things. So you know, very quickly it was like, oh well, you know, I guess if he's playing that, I have to play this. There wasn't really a lot of flexibility, so I'm really looking forward to the Kickstarter for that reason. But yeah, I just want to talk real quick. Got a couple games in, played on their new neoprene mats. I love that they have those, frankly, with the terrain already there. It's outlined, there's no question like where does it start, where does it end. It's right there on the mat. They're super high quality, they roll out nice. If you've used the neoprene mats for any of the other games, you know, you'll be familiar with that. I like how the battlefield's totally defined. It makes the setup super fast. You know, the longest thing that took me in all of these games was actually deciding what I was going to actually play. The first game was a little bit more of a learner game. So we had, what did I give Phil? Phil had Lori Bella, Thorgar, and Thrommel, I believe. And then I played, let's see, Cruel. I think it was Cruel. Or did I stick with supporters? Now I'm blanking. Wow, it's terrible. It was Brock. It was definitely Brock. I think it was Brock Cruel and no, it was Brock Saiyan and Skull pre-errata. So actually they had an errata drop today basically, so go check out the links in the show notes actually, but if you go to judgement.play, I believe it is, judgement.game, make sure I have that right, yeah, so it'll be in the show notes. Go check that out. They'll have the write-up on the rules. There's a few things in flux. I know they're trying to they're updating the rules book soon. They clarified a few things in the errata. They made a few changes to some cards. So keep in mind the game is patched every 3 months. Where they make mostly it's been small tweaks. They've you know, this time they changed the range on a couple things. They changed a couple small numbers, and they flip-flopped a rule on a card, and then it just mostly clarifications after that. Anyway, games were tons of fun. We played that one. It's really hard to kind of talk through how they happened, but because it's now been a little bit since that first game. It was a demo game, so that one was fun. I'm not going to go a ton into that one. Got a couple again on Sunday, and the first one I did Zarin, Brock, Skull again against Rakir, Bastion, Thrommel. And that was a lot of fun, a lot of back and forth with that. Learned a few things, definitely screwed up a couple rules. We figured those out later. I ended up kind of winning, or not kind of winning. I did end up winning at the end, but certainly one of the nice things was, you know, there's kind of the game goes a lot faster. It took us, even with, we had a lot of prep and stuff, but I'd say the game itself, with 2 relatively inexperienced people playing 3v3, still probably only took about an hour. I didn't time it, but I'm not sure, so I think it was about that. I thought the maps were balanced really well. I thought with the circular map, I do like, I have to go back and reference the rules, but I think choosing side definitely has some merit. I think there's some pros and cons, and your warband construction will matter. I think like models that have the like Pathfinder rules or any other ways of mitigating terrain are going to really matter and help you dictate like how you choose. Yeah, and there's meaningful choices you have to make, even with 3v3, right? Do you need fate? Do you need the neutral monster to level up? Or are you going to buy an item right away? How much fate do you actually need? What counters what on the opposing team? Getting access to crowd control, I thought, was incredibly good, right? So, and the great thing about this game as I've played it is I'm already starting to see, like, well, you know, like, if you kill heroes, you get their souls. So do you want to just do like 2 aggressors and a Soul Gazer, which I think totally works, right? If you can keep getting kills and so you get souls that way, and you can pick up other souls, like you can win through that means. You could, I think you can also do a lot of defenders and supporters, right? And now rely on your crowd control from them to sort of like create a ganging up rule or a ganging up sort of feel, which is totally reminiscent of what you would see in a MOBA, right? Like, I play Heroes of the Storm, which I know they base more of this game off of League of Legends, but I play Heroes of the Storm, and when I watch that game, this probably happens in League as well, but when I play Heroes and I watch it, a lot of times you'll see the, you know, you'll see the chain CC happen, the chain crowd control happen, and you'll, you know, like your warrior goes in and hits a stun, and then maybe hits a second stun, and then that gets followed up by the rest of the team just all targeting that one hero, and you get a blow up, or you get a kill. And I completely can see how you can do that in this game, right? Like, changing those numbers on hits are pretty substantial, and depending on the type of hero you're trying to kill, right? So say, especially against like elves, right? So say I have Thrommel, who has the way, you know, he can get a stun and a knockdown out there. Well, if he can go in first and manage to get a knockdown on one of those high agility heroes, it doesn't really, at that point, because they don't have armor and they're knocked down, so their agility is actually not helping them nearly enough. And now I can just like shoot in there or get one of my, you know, get somebody else whose melee attacks are maybe not fantastic, but like if once they're getting those crit values, or like you're getting those ranged attacks, right? So maybe you get like with Thrommel, you actually have a possibility, because it uses fate, you could do the, you know, stay at your 2 inches, do the knockdown, you do the hit, which can cause actually a pretty good amount of damage, even if it's the glance or the solid is all. You're doing like 3-5 damage there. Do the hammer time so that you knock them down, push himself away with a symbol. So as long as you get 1 symbol and 1 damage value, you can do that, push away, and now even somebody like Zarin or Cruel, or if you have ranged heroes like Zarin or Cruel, if you can be close enough to use them after doing that, now you're in a position where you're going to be able to roll so many dice that you're hopefully getting crits. And Zarin does 4 damage a hit with his spell. So now you did D3 from hammer time. You maybe, let's say you did only like 3 from the hammer, which is his glance, because it's a double action. So you do, you know, you did 3 damage there, and then you did and you pushed yourself away, and then you did a D3 from hammer time. So now you've done you know, somewhere between 4 and 6. And then Zarin goes in, and he's probably going to be getting mostly solids and crits, so you're doing 3-4 damage, and he gets at least 2, so now you're doing another, you know, 7-8 damage on top of this, like, so now if you did 5 on average with Thrommel, you do another 7, that's 12, and some of these heroes only have 14 or 15 health, so like if there was anything else you put into there, like maybe you actually charged with the skeleton that you made, or And I'm nitpicking on like what heroes you're using to do this, right? There's other possibilities of what you could use. Zarin maybe only gets a few damage, like maybe only gets one magic shot in at the end, but you soften him up with Piper or something. You know. Anyways, the point being that once you can get one of these, so the way you can approach it's really really different, and I think that's really great about this game. Anyway, just to throw, I think that was all the warbands that we played. The second game on that day that I played, I did a more offensive one. I did Cavardo, Brock, Thrommel, just to see how that played. He did Estariel. I think he did Estariel, Rakir, Bastion. No, he dropped Bastion. It was Thrommel, Estariel, Rakir, and in that one, I actually pulled the neutral monster closer to me with Cavardo, and he still decided to go after it with Rakir, and that game just didn't go very well after that. It is still a miniatures game. If you get a really early big advantage via piece trading, or by not really trading at all, I was able to kill. Brock killed the neutral monster, damaged Rakir. Throgar killed Rakir. And then they're both level 2. I've got the Vorpal Blade on Brock. Then I'm going in on Thrommel, and he's pretty tanky, but two aggressors on him, and he's done. And Asteriel's trying to kind of like slink damage in there, but somewhere in there she kills Cavardo, but then I kill her back. And yeah, it's all pretty rough from there. So definitely some like miniature gaming stuff that you need to keep in mind there too. Anyways, this is just a quick video. A lot of this is actually kind of me rambling, but I just want to throw it out there again because I think Judgment's a ton of fun. I'm hoping that I played enough that I can give some actually like insightful information here. Like maybe I know there's some blogs already doing this, but if I get enough games in, I would like to be able to look at how the heroes play and how I approach them, and just give some of my 2 cents for them, sort of like I do with my circle videos. And yeah, anyways, the Kickstarter is still going on. I have the link in the show notes. Please take a look. I really recommend you go out there and back, especially if you've been thinking about it and on the fence. The sooner you back, the sooner that it hits the mark, and the sooner the more momentum they can gain, and guaranteeing to folks that they're going to get all this stuff, all this great stuff. So it's getting pretty close at this point. I think as of this recording, and we're just gonna check. They are at, of course, now that this is great radio, it's taking a long time to load. They're at just a little under 59,000 Australian dollars, with a goal of 75,000. So we're looking for another about 16,000 in there. So every little bit helps. I recommend, honestly, I recommend going for the something special at this point, because it's the fastest way to get the now mystery 13th hero. There was a Australian gentleman who backed their $5,000 level to actually become a hero and help work with them to make a hero, which is really cool, but a little bit too expensive of a benefit for me to do. So I'm glad somebody hopped on that, because that'll be really cool. And if you do something special, you get all 12, you get 3 neutral monsters, and they've thrown in the along with the commemorative dice, they've thrown in the 13th model. And I think they've teased it a little bit, but I think the 13th model is going to be pretty sweet. So anyways, that'll be all for the stream. As always, if you like my content, subscribe, share us on social media. I did leave the groups in here for my full circle stuff. I'm totally open to talk about Judgment in there if you'd like. I'm gonna probably set up the Discord for full circle to have a Judgment section, so if anybody wants to talk there. And yeah, I hope to be talking about this game a lot more soon.